So let's talk about Ukraine for a minute. So they attacked Russian border regions with missiles and drones, sparking a fire at an oil depot, damaging an industrial facility. Boy, all you need to do is see the look on Zelensky's face when he's sitting there next to Macron and Trump. You can only imagine like what he's thinking and what. So what? Obviously, Biden's trying to strengthen Zelensky's hand as much as he can before he goes. But what's your analysis on what's happening now, or what's going to happen?
Well, we discussed this earlier. I think it might have been last week, where we said Trump has this go-to move. And unfortunately, too many leaders around the world are taking advantage of this, or are viewing Trump as the current president as opposed to Joe Biden by sucking up to him. Trump requires ritualistic personal humiliation.
Yeah.
And he likes that. When Trudeau came down to Mar-a-Lago, he may have irreparably damaged himself. Now he's got Trump insulting him and calling him the governor of the 51st state.
Right.
Same with Macron. And to tell you the truth, Trump expects Zelensky to grovel before him. And immediately Trump came out and made a statement saying that funding to Ukraine will have to actually go
and did
down
you see
in
Biden?
some respects.
Biden takes the high road, has him to the White House, as you do, like, and I don't know. Do you see Trump's tweet about, I don't know. Biden takes your tax dollars and then gives it to Ukraine, and then then they give that to Hunter, and then he gives it to Joe, and then he pardons him. I thought you. Why would you ever expect Trump will ever show you any mercy, civility, anything in return? Like, right?
Well, I mean, what you have is you have Timothy Snyder's obeying in advance out of fear of what a dictator will do. And it goes back to my constant discussion about meta narratives. Do not engage in this. Don't. Just call it and what it is, an effing lie. And that's stupid. And you're giving all your money to the richest man in the world, who is the co-president of the United States. Hey, by the way, has anybody heard of this J.D. Vance guy?
I know. Where is he?
Exist.
So last one, David Corn tweeted, Trump's Justice Department spied on members of Congress and congressional aides, including Kash Patel. Oh my God, irony is coughing up blood in a dumpster. And assorted journalists while looking for leaks. Looks like they were part of the deep state. Let's have a special counsel and a full investigation, right? I mean, if you want to get a peek into what Trump 2.0 is going to be, right?
Yes. Well, worse. I'm sorry. I'm going to go right out on a limb and tell you guys. Okay, when I wrote that book, They Want to Kill Americans, and I predicted that QAnon would take over the Republican Party within a year. It took 6 months. The worst of everything they've promised is expected to happen here, and they intend. I mean, you can just see by the way that they speak about each individual subject. They will choose the most extremist version of it. So if you don't think that they will use the intelligence community to spy on you, this time they will. The FBI will become a malicious, malignant machine. And the only thing that I can say that has any benefit to this is there will be patriots within these organizations who will spill the beans. And by spilling the beans, we'll wake up and find that Kash Patel had plans to run his own Sayidnaya prison and to kill or harm American citizens. Don't think that might not happen.
I mean,
it's happened in American history before. But we're talking about an unfettered Mad King Donald who has all the power of George III, and we need to treat him like the treasonous Mad King that he is.
If they're able to shove, sexual assaulter, allegedly, Pete Hegseth, no women in combat, Pete Hegseth, down Joni Ernst, combat veteran and sexual assault survivor's throat, we'll know where we are. I mean, Carly tweeted
They're going to. She's already complied.
They said Elon Musk
that she would let him through.
Yeah, Elon Musk's statement that he might fund challenges to GOP House members who don't support Trump's nominees should be horrifying to all of us. We should all be making it clear to our elected representatives it's time to have a backbone and put this country first. I got no faith in the Republican Party that will happen.
No, they're cowards. Just no faith in any of the Republicans. Expect these nominations to get through by a hair because Trump has so willed it. This man Hegseth is unqualified for his day job as a Fox News host. He's a drinker. He's a womanizer. He's got a documented sexual assault, which he paid an NDA. to get, to silence the person out of it. How could you possibly allow him in charge of the greatest force in military in U.S. history? It will become a piggy bank for people to rob from. Corruption will become a day-to-day thing because you have a man that thinks he owns the world and that he's the adjudicator. He will commit the armed forces to commit crimes, unlawful orders at the direction of Trump. Because all you got to do is throw a bourbon in front of him and then threaten him, and he'll do it. This is not a game, people.
I know,
okay?
and also
your resistance posture hasn't been set to stand up against this. Then you're complying in advance as well.
We talked to Frank Figluzzi earlier about just what this emboldens, pardoning all the J6 terrorists. This one, high school principal has been put on leave after a black student had the N-word scrawled on their desk, and their parents weren't told about it for days. This is at a school in Maryland. A ninth grader in the school was punished after he printed the N-word on 1,000 pieces of paper. Critics said the response to that was also slow. I mean, it's the kind of behavior that I just think Donald Trump has been emboldening for years, right?
Well, what this has engendered is fear of the community. It's a fear that the white majority MAGA community will kill you. Okay, I don't use these words blithely. I wrote that book because it's true. There are people in this country who view the fact that they own guns and feel that MAGA now owns America, that they could hurt people with impunity. And we have people now who they won't tell the parents that the N-word was put all over there because they're afraid that the community will support that.
Yep.
This is almost going back to the 1920s when you had to be a member of the Klan to get a job.
Yeah.
And don't think that if you're not MAGA, which is just another way of saying that you're part of the Klan, that you aren't going to have people in their community who think this is good.
Yep.
And that you're opposing it, you should lose your job or your life.